Hi, it's me again, and I'm going to show you my Morphtronic deck, which is actually undefeated for right now, which I've actually participated in many tournaments. I actually went to regionals and went 3-2 if I'm not mistaken. And ever since then, it actually has not lost a duel. I don't enter it in many because it's not one of my serious decks that I'm serious about using. But when I do use it, it's pretty undefeated. Defeated Psychics and Spellcasters the other day, so this is it. One Cyber Dragon just for its special summoning ability, and it's nice 5-star. Morphing Jar for hand reset, you know, in case you don't have anything in your hand you need. 2 Bordens, just because they're if your deck swarms fast, it'll be a nice monster to have out in attack mode because you can attack directly with every one of your Morphtronic monsters. Otherwise, put it in defense mode. It has 1800 defense, which is pretty nice. Pretty nice amount. I mean, it's very easy to get over, but I mean, it's still a nice amount to have for a 3-star monster. 2 Morphtronic Scopin, just because it's the best tuner so far for Morphtronics. It is an instant power tool if you have a level 4 in your hand, and great if you run a power tool deck like this one. 2 Remotens, just because I found that having just 2 Scopins in the deck isn't really enough to make a great of an impact of synchros. So I just use Remoten, and it's a good searcher, so yeah. 2 Sling-ins, just because it's a 4-star, nice effect when in attack mode. Sacrifice a Morphtronic on the field to destroy 1 card on the field, so you can destroy anything. It's not just limited to monsters, so that's good. 4-star to have. 2 Boomboxes, just because they have 1200 attack, they attack twice, which is really, really good, and in defense mode you can prevent 1 attack, so it's basically a Scrap Iron Scarecrow, and you can use its effect once per turn, so, I mean, and if, like I said, you have Scoping in your hand, instant power tool. 3 Radiance, because it is an automatic 1800, and it boosts every other Morphtronic by 800, so all your monsters basically gain a bunch of attack points, and having 2 or 3 Radions on the field at one time actually can be quite a pain, as a couple of my opponents have seen. So, like I said, basically he is the beat stick of Morphtronics. 3 Cellphons, just because it is the #1 searcher best card of the Morphtronic deck. I honestly don't think a Morphtronic deck can work without Cellphon, just because of the fact that you roll a die, and depending on the die, you pick up that many cards, and any one Morphtronic in there you can summon. So I mean, if you roll the die and you get a Cellphon, you can summon the Cellphon, and then use its effect again, and bring out a Scopin maybe if you got it, and then bring out a monster from your hand, which there you go, that's 4 monsters right there, and then instant power tool, and then search from their deck, so you can actually do a lot with Cellphon, which is why I honestly run 3. For spells, I run 1 Jump Box, just because the monster dies at the end of the turn, so it's really not all that, I mean, like, it's a one turn monster born just for Morphtronics, so I just run 1. 1 Tokasho of Ghost Destroying, just because any monster that it's equipped to, when it causes damage, remove 2 monsters from your opponent's graveyard. So, nice removal effect there. 1 Dark Hole, obvious field control. And so far, my favorite card of this deck is my Valion Matter, which came out in Storm of Ragnarok, which actually is which is a really good card if you're running the Morphtronic Power Tool deck, because you select 3 equip spells from your graveyard and add them to your deck, and then you get one of the following effects, which one is you just draw 1 card, or you destroy 1 card on your opponent's field. So you replenish your deck with 3 equip spells to search again for Power Tool, and you either can draw a card, or which has the possibility of, changing the game, or you can destroy one card, which also has the possibility of changing the game. So just this one spell card can actually do a lot for a Morphtronic Power Tool deck. Morphtronic Accelerator, you draw one card, destroy one card. Pretty simple. 2 Unite We Stand. I'm not 100% sure. I think it went up to unlimited, but I wasn't 100% sure. So I just threw it in there. If it is, if it isn't unlimited, I'll just take it out. No big deal. But 2 Unite We Stands, it can be a pain if you play both of them at the same time on a power tool. It'll gain 1600, and then as soon as you summon another monster, it'll be 24 or 3200. So I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. 3 mage because it's 500 attack for every spell and trap on your field. So I mean, good equipped for power tool. And finally for spells, double tool C and D, the stereotypical the equip spell for power tool. It's basically his card. Not many synchros have cards that are just for them. Double tool isn't just for power tool. You can equip them to level 4 Morphtronic monsters also, but the only time I really do that is if I have Boomboxer on the field and I'm attacking for game, or if I have Radiant on the field and I just want to be a douche to my opponent and make them attack into an 1800 monster and make their monster destroy itself. So that's pretty much it for double tool. Traps, 2 Morphtronic vibes, just because they restrict attack as long as you have Morphtronic on the field from level 4 and higher monsters. Not many people use level 3s and lowers to attack. I mean, you saw in my previous deck, my Ice Barrier Spellcaster, that I have level 2 and level 3s maybe that have decent attack. They can attack direct and stuff like that. But I mean, unless you're running that kind of a deck, or a deck that specifically does stuff like that, you're not really going to run into a problem with this. 1 Power Break, just because I actually have never played it, got a chance to activate it, just because it's a situational card, but it's always nice to have it just in case that one situation does come up. Destruction Ring, I'm not really 100% sure why I run it. I just like it just because it destroys your opponent's monster, and in case you have like Black Winged Dragon on the field or something like that, it'll prevent you from taking damage, but your opponent will still take the damage and they lose their monster. So it's more of an upside to you than it is a downside. You lose 1,000, but at the same time your opponent loses 1,000 and a monster, so it's kind of a win-win. It's a win-win-lose. 1 Scrap Iron, just because it prevents an attack every turn, so it's a pretty common card, but it's still pretty good. Call of the Haunted, just to resurrect like Power Tool or anything that's in my graveyard that I would like to use to search or something like that. Just it's pretty self-explanatory again. And finally, 3 Threatening Roars, just because there's also a lot of weak monsters in the deck. So in case like you summon, like with this deck specifically, you can get Cellphon out and use its effect and draw nothing but spells, because that happens to me pretty much. I would say like 70%. No, I would say about 60% of the time. So Threatening is a good card to protect yourself from being destroyed by an attack that same turn. So, like I said, just a good card to have. And to wrap things up, the extra deck. 3 power tools, because, as I said, this is a Morphtronic power tool deck. You kind of need power tools for it to be a power tool deck. It prevents destruction and is a very easy first kill. So it's good with power tool. And I actually just recently discovered, before actually making this deck, that I can actually run this 3 up Archeon, just because he's a 2500 attack point, 6-star, Earth. I can easily do Remoten with Borden and bring him out, and While he's face up, I just removed 2 cards from my graveyard from play to negate the activation of a trap, which can pretty much stop anything that you're afraid of, like Deep Prison or something like that, something big that cripples your entire deck. Or not even your entire deck, but like, you know, you can stop like Solemn. Well, can't stop Solemn because, I mean, that counters him coming out, so you can't really stop that, but you can stop like Royal Oppression, you can stop Threatening, you can stop anything that you don't want to be done. And it's not a once per turn effect, it's just as long as you can remove 2 cards from your graveyard. And Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, because I have Cyber Dragon in this deck, and a lot of other decks nowadays are machine, and they run a Cyber Dragon or two. So it's always nice to kind of have your opponent where they swarm the field and they'll have a Cyber Dragon, or you summon a Cyber Dragon, and all their monsters are machine, and you kind of go, oh, boom, hey, I just sacrificed your monsters to summon my monster, now my monster has 6,000 attack. And while having him out at the same time as the Terry Barkion, I guess, you can attack and not worry about your opponent stopping your 6,000 beat stick from attacking using Barkion's effect. So, just a nice monster to have. Alright, YouTube. YouTube and Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, that's my Morphtronic Power Tool deck. Rate, subscribe, let me know what you think. Oh.